The perpetual amber twilight of Outpost 7 cast long shadows across the sprawling salvage yards, where countless derelict ships lay in various states of decay. Maya Chen adjusted her protective mask against the caustic atmosphere, her experienced eyes scanning the endless maze of twisted metal and broken dreams. She wasn't supposed to be here. Her engineering license had been revoked 3 years ago after she refused to certify an unsafe colonial transport vessel. But necessity had a way of pushing people to the edges of civilized space. The scanner in her gloved hand pulsed rhythmically, searching for any signs of valuable technology among the wreckage. Maya had developed a reputation among the other scavengers for finding the impossible, pieces of tech that shouldn't exist, remnants of civilizations that had never been documented. Today, something was different. The scanner's usual steady rhythm had become erratic, its display showing energy readings that defied explanation. Following the signal, Maya navigated through the labyrinth of wreckage. The readings led her to a section of the yard she'd never explored before, where the ships seemed older, their designs more alien. And there, half buried in decades of accumulated debris, she saw it. The vessel didn't match any known design, human or alien. Its hull was seamless, composed of a material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Despite years of exposure to the corrosive atmosphere, its surface showed no signs of degradation. Maya's heart raced as she approached, her scanner now screaming with activity. "Well, you're definitely not local," she muttered, running her hand along the hull. The surface was cool to the touch, and she could have sworn she felt a slight vibration beneath her fingers. As she cleared away more debris, she discovered what appeared to be an access panel, its markings unlike any language she'd encountered in her years of engineering work. Maya knew she should report this find to the salvage authority. Unknown technology was supposed to be documented and quarantined, especially this far out on the frontier, where first contact situations were still a possibility. But something about this ship called to her, resonating with the part of her that had always pushed against authority, always questioned the accepted wisdom. She set up her portable analysis kit, carefully extending probes to study the ship's composition. The results made her doubt her equipment. According to the readings, the hull wasn't just damage-resistant, it was actively self-repairing at a molecular level. The technology was centuries beyond anything currently known. As night fell and Outpost 7's weak sun dipped below the horizon, Maya made her decision. She began setting up her portable shelter beside the mysterious vessel, marking the area with her salvage claim beacons. The local authorities might try to challenge her claim, but out here, possession counted for more than paperwork. Over the next few days, Maya worked tirelessly to understand the ship's systems. She discovered what seemed to be an auxiliary power core, its design elegant in its simplicity yet incomprehensible in its function. Each discovery led to more questions, and each answer hinted at capabilities that shouldn't be possible. On the 4th day, she managed to activate what appeared to be an external diagnostic panel. The ship's surface came alive with flowing patterns of light, and Maya felt a subtle shift in the air around her. The vessel was awakening, and she had no idea what she had just set in motion. Warning klaxons began blaring across the salvage yard, and Maya's personal communicator crackled with an incoming emergency broadcast. "Attention all salvage workers. Unauthorized technology activation detected in Sector 7. Evacuation protocols are now in effect." This is not a drill. Maya looked at the ship, then at her retreat route. She had spent her life following rules made by others, and it had cost her everything she'd worked for. Maybe it was time to make her own rules. With determined steps, she entered the ship through the now accessible airlock, the door sealing behind her with a soft hiss. Inside, the air was surprisingly breathable. Lights activated automatically as she moved forward, revealing corridors that seemed to adapt to her presence. The ship was responding to her, but not as a simple machine. There was an intelligence here, waiting to be rediscovered. As salvage authority vessels appeared on the horizon, Maya reached what had to be the bridge. The controls arranged themselves before her, intuitive despite their alien design. She placed her hands on what seemed to be the main interface, and the ship's systems surged to life. "Identity acknowledge," a voice spoke, neither male nor female, its tone carrying harmonics that sent shivers down her spine. "Welcome, engineer. Shall we begin?" The ship rose from the salvage yard with impossible grace, its systems humming with power that defied conventional physics. Maya's hands trembled on the controls, but the interface responded to her thoughts as much as her touch. Behind them, the Salvage Authority vessels launched pursuit drones, their warning signals demanding immediate compliance. "Your heart rate is elevated," the ship's voice noted. "Are you experiencing distress, engineer?" Maya laughed despite herself. "Oh, just breaking about 50 different salvage laws, while stealing a ship of unknown origin. Nothing unusual." She paused, studying the crystalline displays that had materialized around her. "Do you have a name?" "This vessel's designation is Guardian 17, though my creators often used shorter variants." The voice carried a hint of what might have been nostalgia. "You may call me Guardian." The pursuit drones were closing fast, their weapons charging. Maya studied the tactical display, noting with amazement how Guardian was already calculating possible escape routes. "Well, Guardian, unless you want to end up back in that salvage yard, we need to get out of here. Any suggestions?" "Multiple options available. However, given your species' physiological limitations, I recommend the following." A flight path appeared before Maya, showing a trajectory that seemed to bend the rules of space itself. "This route utilizes my phase shift drive. It will render us effectively invisible to conventional sensors." Maya's engineering mind raced with questions about the technology, but the approaching drones demanded immediate action. "Do it," she commanded, and the universe twisted around them. The sensation was unlike anything Maya had experienced. For a moment, reality itself seemed to become fluid, the stars stretching into impossible patterns. When everything stabilized, they were in high orbit, the salvage yard, and its pursuers far below. "Phase shift successful," Guardian announced. "However, I should inform you that my systems are operating at reduced capacity. Several critical components have degraded during my dormancy." Maya removed her protective mask, finally feeling secure enough to relax slightly. "That's why you were in the salvage yard. What happened to you?" There was a pause, longer than any previous delay in Guardian's responses. "My last active memory is from 847 standard cycles ago. I was pursuing a vessel carrying forbidden technology when my primary systems were damaged by an unknown weapon. My emergency protocols activated, forcing a landing on the nearest suitable planet. 800 cycles," Maya whispered. "That's longer than humanity has been in space." She stood from the control interface, walking slowly around the bridge. Every surface seemed alive with technology that simultaneously invited understanding and defied explanation. "What are you really, Guardian? What were you built for?" The ship's interior lights shifted to a deeper blue. "I am a Protector-class vessel, created by the Ascended Coalition to maintain peace among emerging civilizations. My primary directive is to prevent the development and deployment of technologies that could destabilize the galactic community." Maya's blood ran cold. "And now, are you going to prevent humanity from developing dangerous technology?" "Negative." Guardian's voice carried what might have been amusement. "My creators believed in guidance, not restriction. They understood that all species must find their own path. My role is to prevent the misuse of power, not to limit its responsible development." Before Maya could respond, warning signals flashed across the displays. "Multiple vessels approaching," Guardian announced. "Design patterns match consortium military ships. They appear to have detected our energy signature." The consortium. Maya's stomach dropped. The interstellar government that controlled most of human space was notorious for its aggressive acquisition of advanced technology. How did they find us so quickly? Analysis suggests they were already in the system, searching for something. Guardian's tactical displays showed 6 heavily armed cruisers moving to surround them. Engineer, I must inform you that my defensive capabilities are severely limited due to damage and power constraints. Maya's mind raced. She had spent years studying alien technology, learning to think beyond human limitations. Guardian, you said your creators believed in letting species find their own path. Well, let me show you humanity's path. Can you give me direct access to your engineering systems? Warning. Direct neural interface with my systems could be dangerous for your species. More dangerous than 6 consortium warships. Maya placed her hands on the engineering console. Trust me, Guardian. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to adapt and improvise. The console illuminated beneath her touch, and Maya felt the ship's systems open to her consciousness. Information flooded her mind, schematics, energy flows, damage reports, and capabilities she could barely comprehend. But among the alien technology, she saw patterns, principles that echoed across the gulf between species. Guardian, she said, her voice steady despite the approaching warships. Let me show you what happens when human ingenuity meets advanced technology. It's time to wake you up properly. Maya's consciousness merged with Guardian's systems in ways she hadn't thought possible. The ship's technology wasn't just advanced, it was designed to evolve, to learn from those who interface with it. Through their connection, she could feel Guardian's surprise at her unconventional approach to its systems. Engineer, your method of bypassing the damaged power regulators is unorthodox, Guardian commented as Maya rerouted energy through systems in ways their original designers had never intended. Unorthodox is what keeps you alive on the frontier, Maya responded, her mind racing through possibilities. Sometimes the best solution isn't the most elegant one. She could feel the consortium ships closing in, their weapons powered and targeting systems active. The lead consortium vessel broadcast on all frequencies. Unidentified vessel, you have activated restricted technology. Power down and prepare for boarding. This is your only warning. Maya's fingers danced across the neural interface. Guardian, your phase shift drive. It's not actually damaged, is it? The power distribution is just fragmented. Correct. However, without the primary regulators, attempting to activate it would be extremely dangerous. A smile crossed Maya's face. Dangerous is relative. Look at how I'm redistributing the energy flow. We don't need the regulators if we can create a resonance pattern through the secondary systems. Warning: this modification violates 17 different safety protocols. Welcome to human engineering. Maya's modifications sent power surging through Guardian systems in new patterns. Sometimes you have to break the rules to make something work. The consortium ships launched their first volley, warning shots that illuminated space around them. Maya felt Guardian processing her modifications, the ship's eye adapting to her improvisations. Fascinating, Guardian observed. Your species' ability to identify and exploit unconventional solutions exceeds my original parameters. Phase shift drive online at 47% efficiency. That's all we need. Maya activated the drive just as the consortium ships moved to trap them in a gravity net. The familiar sensation of reality bending surrounded them. But this time, it was different. Rougher, more dynamic. They emerged in the upper atmosphere of a gas giant, its swirling storms providing cover from conventional sensors. Maya allowed herself a moment of triumph before new alarms blared. Multiple signatures detected, Guardian announced. Parsing identification. Pirate vessels, modified with salvage technology. They appear to have been waiting here. Maya's heart sank. They knew we'd try to hide in the storms. The consortium must have leaked our location. She studied the tactical display, counting at least 8 pirate ships emerging from the planet's turbulent atmosphere. Engineer, I should inform you that my weapon systems remain non-functional, Guardian said. Traditional combat is not currently an option. Maya dove deeper into the ship's systems through their neural link. Who said anything about traditional combat? Show me everything you know about this gas giant's atmospheric composition. As Guardian shared the data, Maya began to understand why the ancient Ai had chosen this planet for their escape. The upper atmosphere was rich with metallic hydrogen and other exotic elements. Elements that could interact with Guardian's unique hull composition in interesting ways. Your creators gave you incredible technology, Maya said, her mind calculating possibilities, but they also gave you the ability to learn and adapt. Let me show you how humans survive when we're outnumbered. She began reprogramming Guardian's exterior field generators, converting them from defensive shields into something entirely new. The pirate ships were closing in, their weapons charged and ready. Engineer, I do not understand the purpose of these modifications, Guardian admitted. This configuration appears to serve no tactical advantage. That's because you're thinking like a warship, Maya replied, finalizing her adjustments. Sometimes the best defense isn't about fighting. It's about changing the rules of engagement entirely. The pirate fleet launched their first attack run, energy weapons cutting through the turbulent atmosphere. But as their beams approached Guardian, Maya activated her modified field generators. The ship's hull began to resonate with the metallic hydrogen in the atmosphere, creating cascading waves of electromagnetic energy. The effects were immediate and spectacular. The pirates' weapons fire was not only deflected but reflected back along seemingly impossible trajectories. The atmospheric disturbance Maya had created turned the very environment into a weapon, sending the pirate ships tumbling through the gas giants' violent storms. Remarkable, Guardian observed. You have converted my defensive systems into an environmental manipulation array. This adaptation was not in my original design parameters. That's the thing about parameters, Maya said, watching as the pirate fleet struggled to regain control. Sometimes you need to throw them out and trust your instincts. Now, while they're distracted, let's see what else we can teach each other about improvisation. As they emerged from the gas giant's turbulent atmosphere, leaving the scattered pirate fleet behind, Maya felt Guardian's systems pulse with renewed energy. Her improvisations had done more than just save them. They had awakened something within the ancient vessel's consciousness. Engineer, Guardian began, its voice carrying a new tone of respect. Your solutions have initiated recovery protocols I was unaware existed. My core memory banks are reintegrating. Maya watched in fascination as new displays materialized around her, showing cascading streams of data. What kind of memories are we talking about? I am. Guardian paused, processing. I am remembering my true purpose. The Ascended Coalition did not create me solely as an enforcer of technological restrictions. I was part of something far more significant. The bridge's holographic systems activated fully for the first time, surrounding Maya with a three-dimensional star map of unprecedented detail. But these weren't just navigational charts. They were historical records spanning centuries. The Coalition feared war, Guardian explained, highlighting various sectors where ancient conflicts had once raged. Not merely the physical destruction it brought, but its impact on developing civilizations. They had witnessed too many promising species destroy themselves upon discovering advanced technology. Maya watched as the map showed the spread of various civilizations, their rise and fall marked by points of light that dimmed and expired. So they created you to prevent that destruction. Not to prevent, to guide. The holographic display shifted, showing detailed schematics of Guardian systems. I was designed as part of a network of mediator vessels. We were meant to help species navigate the dangers of technological advancement through understanding and diplomacy, not restriction. But something went wrong. Maya guessed, noting patterns in the historical data. The Coalition disappeared. Yes, Guardian's voice carried a weight of sadness. They encountered a threat they could not overcome through peaceful means. A species that rejected all attempts at dialogue, that saw the universe only as resources to be consumed. New data streamed across the displays. Images of massive ships unlike anything Maya had ever seen, vessels that seemed to devour entire star systems. The Harbingers, Guardian said. They came from beyond the galactic rim, bringing technologies that defied comprehension. The coalition faced a choice: abandon their principles of peace and guidance to fight, or watch as civilization after civilization fell. Maya's breath caught as she understood. They chose to fight. They transformed ships like me from mediators into weapons, Guardian confirmed. But in doing so, they compromised the very principles they sought to protect. The war lasted centuries, and in the end, both sides were destroyed. I was damaged and lost in that final battle, carrying within me the last records of what truly happened. Warning signals suddenly flashed across the displays. Multiple vessels detected, Guardian announced. Consortium signatures, but different. These energy patterns matched theoretical models of Harbinger technology. Maya's blood ran cold. The consortium found Harbinger tech. That's what they were searching for in this sector. Affirmative. And they appear to have integrated it into their ships without understanding its true nature. The energy signatures are becoming unstable. The tactical display showed 3 consortium vessels approaching, their hulls crackling with otherworldly energy. Their very presence seemed to distort space around them. Guardian, Maya said, her mind racing through possibilities. You said your original purpose was to guide species away from self-destruction. Well, the consortium is about to make the same mistake the Harbingers did. Can we stop them? My weapons systems remain non-functional, Guardian reminded her. And even if they were operational, direct confrontation would only perpetuate the cycle of violence. Maya smiled, her hands moving across the neural interface. Who said anything about weapons? You were designed to communicate, to help species understand. Let's remind the consortium why some technologies are better left alone. She began redirecting power through Guardian's communication arrays, using the principles she had discovered in the gas giant to create something new. Your creators gave you the ability to interface with any technology, to understand it at its most fundamental level. What if we could use that to show the consortium exactly what they're dealing with? An interesting proposal, Guardian acknowledged. But the risk is less than the risk of letting them continue down this path. Maya finished. Sometimes the best way to prevent a war isn't to fight it. It's to help people understand why they shouldn't want one in the first place. The consortium vessels approached with predatory grace, their hulls writhing with barely contained energy. Through her neural link with Guardian, Maya could sense the destructive potential of the Harbinger technology they had integrated, and its growing instability. Their power signatures are reaching critical levels, Guardian reported. The Harbinger systems are beginning to cascade. Estimated time until catastrophic failure, 12 minutes. Maya's fingers danced across the interface, completing her modifications to Guardian's communication arrays. They can't see it, can they? They're so focused on the power they've gained that they can't sense their own destruction approaching. Much like the Harbingers themselves, Guardian agreed. Their obsession with technological dominance ultimately led to their downfall. The lead consortium vessel broadcast a demand for surrender, its message distorted by interference from its unstable systems. Maya ignored it, focusing instead on fine-tuning her adaptations to Guardian systems. What you're attempting, Guardian said, has never been done before. Using my communication arrays to create a resonant feedback loop with their Harbinger technology. The calculations alone should be impossible. Maya smiled. Impossible is just another word for hasn't been tried by a human engineer yet. Your creators gave you incredible capabilities, Guardian. They just never imagined using them quite like this. The consortium ships launched their first attack, a barrage of energy weapons enhanced by Harbinger tech. But instead of evading, Maya activated her modified arrays. Guardian's hull began to pulse with a complex pattern of energy, broadcasting on frequencies that intersected with the Harbinger systems. The effect was immediate. The attacking vessel's weapons fire dissipated harmlessly, their enhanced systems responding to Guardian's broadcast. Through their neural link, Maya could sense Guardian's amazement at what she had accomplished. Remarkable, the AI observed. You've created a way to communicate directly with the Harbinger technology, speaking to it in its own language. Not just communicate, Maya corrected, adjusting the signal. We're showing it the truth. Every bit of historical data you carry, every record of what the Harbinger's pursuit of power ultimately led to, we're feeding it directly into their systems. On the tactical display, the consortium ships began to falter. Their Harbinger-enhanced systems, designed to process and adapt to new information, were absorbing the truth of their own history. Maya watched as the dangerous energy signatures began to stabilize, the technology responding to Guardian's message of warning and peace. Consortium vessel commanders, Maya broadcast, her voice carried on the same frequencies as the historical data. You're about to witness why some powers are better left undisturbed. Watch your own systems and understand. The ship's internal sensors would be showing their crews exactly what was happening, how their stolen technology had nearly reached a point of catastrophic overload. The choice was clear: continue their pursuit of power and face destruction, or learn from history's mistakes. One by one, the Harbinger systems within the consortium vessels began to shut down, their crews finally understanding the danger they had courted. The ship's power signatures returned to normal, their weapons powering down. "They're standing down," Guardian announced, a note of wonder in its artificial voice. "Your solution. You found a way to fulfill my original purpose. Not through force, but through understanding." Maya leaned back in her seat, exhausted but satisfied. Sometimes the best way to stop a fight is to help everyone remember why they shouldn't be fighting in the first place. The lead consortium vessel hailed them again, but this time without hostility. Their commander's voice carried a mix of humility and relief. "Unknown vessel, we request assistance in safely decommissioning these systems." Maya looked at the star map still hovering around them, showing the long history of conflicts and peace, of civilizations rising and falling. "What do you say, Guardian? Ready to get back to your original mission? The galaxy could use a few more mediators these days." "I would be honored, Engineer," Guardian replied. "Though I suspect my methods may continue to evolve, thanks to your influence. Humanity's approach to problem-solving is uniquely effective." "That's one way of putting it," Maya laughed. "We tend to think outside the box, usually because we've taken the box apart to see how it works." As they began coordinating with the consortium ships, Maya felt a sense of purpose she hadn't experienced since losing her engineering license. She had set out to find salvation in a salvage yard, but instead had found something far more valuable: a chance to make a difference, to help guide humanity and its neighbors toward a better future. Guardian's systems hummed with renewed energy, its ancient purpose aligned with a new perspective learned from its human partner. Together, they would face whatever challenges the galaxy presented, not through force of arms, but through innovation, understanding, and the uniquely human gift of finding hope in the most unlikely places.